The sky over Earth had never looked so alien. A pale green hue stretched across the horizon as enormous ships, larger than any human imagination had ever dared, hovered silently above the major cities. The world's militaries had scrambled jets and defense satellites, but nothing moved fast enough to confront them. Citizens stared in awe and terror, phones capturing every moment as governments struggled to respond. And yet, amidst the fear, a quiet determination began to stir. In a hidden command bunker beneath the mountains of Chile, General Elena Marquez tightened her gloves and adjusted the sensors that mapped the alien fleet. Every second that passed was precious. Every choice mattered. "We have hours, not days," she told the gathered team of strategists, engineers, and elite soldiers. "They underestimate us. Let's prove them wrong." The aliens, known as the Valkyrie, had arrived unannounced. Their empire spanned galaxies, assimilating worlds with a cold, methodical precision. Most civilizations surrendered immediately, their leaders bowing in compliance while the Valkyrie stripped planets of their resources. Humanity, however, was not most civilizations. On the surface, Dr. Amir Shah, a quantum physicist from Pakistan, and his assistant Lena Cho worked frantically to retrofit a network of satellites. Their goal was audacious: to send a signal that could disrupt the alien fleet's communication and navigation for just long enough to give Earth a fighting chance. "If we can scramble their sensors for even 5 minutes," Lena whispered, eyes glued to the monitor, "we can hit their fleet where it's weakest." Amir didn't smile, but the faint spark of hope in his eyes betrayed his excitement. Meanwhile, in the skies over the Atlantic, Captain Jonah Reyes piloted a converted cargo shuttle, dodging the massive shadow of a Valkyrie cruiser. He was carrying a team of engineers and explosives experts. Each one had trained for years in zero-gravity operations and sabotage missions. Their target, the Valkyrie ship known as the Iron Spire, the command vessel coordinating the invasion. "Steady," Jonah murmured. "Timing is everything. One misstep and we're finished." Back in Chile, General Marquez activated the Global Resistance Network. Across every continent, humans responded. Sabotage teams struck Valkyrie refueling stations. Cyber specialists infiltrated alien data streams. Ordinary citizens became part of an extraordinary effort. Factories retooled to produce weapons instead of consumer goods, scientists shared discoveries freely, and former rivals joined forces in ways that no one on Earth had imagined possible. From orbit, the Valkyrie commander, Vainathal, observed the planet below with disdain. "Primitive," he hissed to his aide. "They cannot possibly resist us. Their weapons are trivial. Their strategy, chaotic. They will kneel, as all species do." But even as he spoke, reports came flooding in. Critical communications were down, supply lines disrupted, and unexpected coordinated attacks were striking at multiple fleet positions. Aboard the Iron Spire, Lieutenant Kira Solberg ran diagnostics on the ship's power grids. Screens flashed warnings as anomalies appeared across multiple sectors. "Commander, their tactics, they're organized," Kira said, voice tight with disbelief. "This is intentional. They've planned this." Vainathal slammed his clawed hand against the console. "Impossible. They are insignificant. They cannot comprehend the scale of our power." Yet the data told a different story. Humanity, for all its smallness, had struck first, and struck effectively. On the ground, Elena Marquez received an encrypted transmission from Jonah Reyes. "Target sighted. Ready to deploy explosives in 3, 2. The countdown echoed through the command center. Satellite feeds showed the shuttle slipping between the massive hulls of the Iron Spire. Small, nearly invisible, and moving with precision that defied the Valkyrie's expectations. Then the first explosion rocked the command ship. The Iron Spire shuddered, alarms blaring throughout the fleet. Vainathal roared in fury, unable to comprehend the audacity of these humans. More strikes followed in rapid succession, communications disrupted, weapon systems malfunctioning, and entire sections of the fleet rendered inoperable. Humanity was holding them off. On Earth, Dr. Amir Shah smiled despite the tension. "It's working," he said softly, watching as alien drones crashed into the forests of Siberia, their own technology turned against them. Lena Cho laughed in disbelief. "We're actually doing it. We're winning the first round. And yet, General Marquez knew better than to celebrate. This was only the beginning. The Valkyrie were vast, and their empire had conquered countless civilizations before. But for the first time, humanity had shown a strength the aliens could not predict: unity, ingenuity, and a refusal to submit. As the sun set over the horizon, casting long shadows across the scarred cities, humans everywhere paused, watching the alien ships above. They were not afraid, not entirely. There was something new in their hearts, the knowledge that even against unimaginable odds, they could resist. And that knowledge, that spark of defiance, would soon grow into a blaze that no empire could extinguish. Somewhere in space, Vayner Thal stared at the planet below, his confidence shaken. Humanity had not only survived the first attack, they had organized, adapted, and struck back. "Prepare the fleet," he ordered, voice tight with anger. "We will crush them, eventually. But this resistance, it is unusual." On Earth, Elena Marquez clenched her fists. "They think they've seen the worst we have. They haven't seen anything yet." Across the world, humans readied themselves for the battle to come. For the first time, they were not just defending their home, they were fighting to show the universe what humanity could do. And somewhere, hidden in the chaos, a young engineer whispered to herself, staring at a map of the enemy fleet, "They may have the stars, but we have Earth. And we will not surrender." Night had fallen over the planet, but the chaos of battle left no darkness untouched. Cities still smoldered from the initial strikes, and the skies were alive with streaks of fire as alien ships retaliated. On the coasts of Australia, massive tidal defenses held firm against the first wave of Valkyrie bombardments. Behind the walls, civilians were evacuated to underground bunkers, while soldiers coordinated counterattacks with a precision that defied the alien expectation. In the heart of the Resistance Command Center, General Elena Marquez paced the war room. Holographic maps displayed the Valkyrie fleet movements and ground incursions. "They're learning fast," she muttered. "Every maneuver we make, they adapt in real time. But we can still outthink them." Across the room, Lieutenant Rajiv Kapoor, a tactical genius from India, studied the maps with narrowed eyes. "Their ships are large, but not invincible," he said. "If we can isolate the command vessels, we can create confusion across the fleet. Then strike again." Meanwhile, aboard a stealth transport in orbit, Captain Jonah Reyes prepared his team for the next mission. The shuttle's small interior was crowded with engineers, weapons specialists, and medics, all of them tense but resolute. "We know their weaknesses now," Jonah said, voice low but commanding. "Sensors, shields, and communications, they're all connected. One coordinated hit from multiple vectors will cripple the fleet's ability to respond." Beside him, Lieutenant Mara Ellis, a former space miner turned explosives expert, adjusted her gloves. "Then let's give them a demonstration of human ingenuity." Back on Earth, Dr. Amir Shah and Lena Cho worked feverishly on a secondary plan. Using salvaged Valkyrie technology from the wreckage of a downed drone, they were attempting to reverse engineer a signal amplifier capable of disrupting the fleet's targeting arrays. "We're pushing the limits," Lena said, eyes wide as she analyzed streams of data. "If this works, every alien ship above us will be blind for at least 10 minutes. Amir nodded, a determined glint in his eyes. 10 minutes is enough. That's all we need." Across the Atlantic, an untested squadron of human pilots prepared for their first direct engagement with the Valkyrie fleet. Among them was Lieutenant Kai Moreno, a young pilot whose calm under pressure belied his 20 years of age. As he climbed into his modified fighter, he thought about the millions counting on him below. "No surrender," he whispered to himself. "Not now. Not ever." The engines roared to life, and the squadron surged into the darkened sky, invisible to most sensors but fully visible to the human eye. Above the planet, Vayner Thal watched the human activity with growing frustration. "They should be scared," he growled, his claws drumming against the console. "They should be begging for mercy. Yet they coordinate like seasoned commanders. It is infuriating." Lieutenant Kira Solberg hesitated before him. "Sir, they are analyzing our fleet. They're predicting our responses. This is not random resistance, they're adapting at an unprecedented rate." Vaina's multifaceted eyes narrowed. Then we will force them into mistakes. Burn their cities, destroy their supply lines, show them the futility of resistance. On the ground, Elena Marquez activated a global broadcast system. Her voice, calm yet commanding, echoed across multiple networks. Citizens of Earth, we are under attack. The Valkyrie believe they can conquer us in a day, but they underestimate humanity. Join us where you can. Resist where you must. Help each other. Share knowledge, share resources, and prepare. We fight not for surrender, but for survival and dignity. Together, we can outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast them. Across the world, her words ignited a spark of determination in every city, town, and village. Within hours, the humans launched a coordinated counterstrike. Underground facilities in Germany deployed electromagnetic pulse devices to scramble alien sensors. In Brazil, rapid response units sabotaged fuel depots, leaving alien cruisers stranded. In Siberia, engineers rigged massive ice fields with gravity disruptors, using the planet's natural terrain as a weapon. Every attack was calculated, every move designed to exploit the weaknesses that humans had painstakingly discovered. Captain Jonah's shuttle approached the Iron Spire once more, skimming between orbiting vessels. "We go silent on my mark," he whispered. The team activated cloaking devices scavenged from previous encounters. Sensors reported zero detection. Then, in perfect synchrony, explosives were released. The Iron Spire shuddered as multiple compartments suffered critical failures. Communications between the fleet's ships flickered and failed. From orbit, Lieutenant Kai Moreno led the human fighters through gaps in the alien formations, striking with precision. Alien vessels, once confident and unyielding, faltered as their commands became disjointed. Fires erupted along hulls, energy shields collapsed, and small ships became traps for larger ones. Humanity had not just survived the attack, they had turned the tide, if only slightly. Below, Dr. Amir Shah and Lena Cho's device came online. A surge of energy pulsed toward the orbiting fleet, temporarily blinding sensors and throwing targeting arrays into chaos. Alien ships fired blindly into the void, striking each other in confusion. On the ground, humans cheered in disbelief and triumph. "We did it," Lena whispered, tears welling in her eyes. "We actually did it." General Marquez watched the displays, her heart pounding. "This is just the beginning," she said, voice steady. "They will adapt. We will adapt faster. Humanity will not be conquered, not today, not tomorrow, not ever." Around the world, resistance forces braced for the next phase. For the first time in history, humans had faced an overwhelmingly superior alien force and forced it to respond, to rethink, to hesitate. Somewhere in the dark corridors of the Valkyrie fleet, Vaina Thal roared in fury. "Impossible. They should be broken. They should be begging for mercy. How can they continue?" Lieutenant Kira Solberg, her hands trembling slightly, whispered, "They aren't just resisting, sir, they're fighting back. They're learning." Vaina's claws tightened around the console. "Then we will show them the full power of the Valkyrie Empire. No planet can defy us. No species can resist. And yet, they endure." On Earth, as the first human counterstrike concluded, families huddled together, citizens volunteered in makeshift factories, and leaders coordinated in ways never imagined before. Humanity had discovered something greater than technology or weapons. It had discovered itself. The spark of defiance had become a fire, and the Valkyrie had yet to see its full blaze. General Elena Marquez, standing before the flickering holograms, whispered softly to herself, "Let them underestimate us. Let them believe they are invincible. They have never faced what humans can do when we refuse to surrender." The dawn over Earth was pale and trembling, as if the planet itself had been holding its breath through the long night of chaos. The skies were still filled with smoke trails and the remnants of destroyed Valkyrie drones, but human activity surged with a new intensity. Cities and towns, once paralyzed with fear, now pulsed with purpose. Every citizen, soldier, and scientist understood that survival required not just resistance, but audacity. In the subterranean command hub of Nairobi, General Nyasha Okoye oversaw the coordination of worldwide counteroffensives. Her voice carried calm authority, cutting through the hum of computers and chatter of analysts. "Today, we shift from defense to offense," she said. "We strike at their fleet's weakest nodes, and we do it simultaneously. They will not see it coming." Maps glowed with markers where sabotage teams and drone units would strike in perfect synchrony. Meanwhile, Captain Jonah Reyes prepared a new strike team aboard a stealth transport retrofitted with experimental graviton disruptors. Beside him, Lieutenant Mara Ellis double-checked the equipment. "If we can disable even a single command ship, the rest will falter," she said. "Timing has to be perfect." Jonah nodded, feeling the familiar tension that came with every mission. This was not just about survival anymore. It was about showing the universe what humanity could accomplish under pressure. Above the Atlantic, a fleet of human fighters surged toward the alien vanguard. Lieutenant Kai Moreno led the squadron, weaving through alien patrols with precision and daring that made seasoned veterans gasp. Each maneuver was calculated, exploiting the tiniest gaps in enemy formations. As the fighters engaged, the alien cruisers fired blindly, their systems still partially scrambled from the previous night's counterstrike. Human pilots, though smaller and less advanced, used creativity and unpredictability to outmaneuver their massive adversaries. On the ground, Dr. Amir Shah and Lena Cho activated the second phase of their signal disruptor. Energy pulses shot skyward, cloaking human movements and confusing alien targeting systems. Valkyrie ships, which had once appeared untouchable, now collided with one another in chaos. In cities across the world, humans mobilized to repair infrastructure, transport supplies, and reinforce defensive positions. Ordinary people became extraordinary actors in a planet-wide ballet of survival and resistance. Meanwhile, deep in the corridors of the Iron Spire, Vayner Thal's frustration boiled over. "They should have been crushed already," he hissed to Lieutenant Kira Solberg. "Every species submits. Every species obeys. Why can't they?" Kira, her multifaceted eyes reflecting the flickering emergency lights, hesitated. "Sir, they are evolving, fast. Their strategies are unpredictable. They anticipate our maneuvers before we even execute them." Vayner's claws slammed against the console. "Then we will adapt. We will show them why resistance is futile." Back on Earth, Elena Marquez orchestrated a simultaneous multi-front strike. In the deserts of Kazakhstan, sabotage teams used gravity traps to destabilize alien supply convoys. In the mountains of Peru, fighters armed with repurposed alien tech struck enemy forward bases with lethal precision. From the skies of North America to the forests of Europe, humans coordinated an assault the likes of which the galaxy had never seen. As the Iron Spire struggled to regain control, Captain Jonah's team infiltrated a secondary command node aboard the ship. Gravitation disruptors pulsed silently from within, creating zones where alien weapons became unpredictable. Mara Ellis moved like a shadow through the corridors, her training and human ingenuity turning even the smallest advantage into a tactical triumph. Explosions erupted in strategic compartments, crippling ship systems and forcing the Valkyrie crew into chaos. On the planet below, the people of Earth watched the skies with growing hope. For the first time, the alien invaders were no longer untouchable. In villages, towns, and cities, humans repaired damage and repurposed technology scavenged from downed drones. Children assisted scientists in monitoring telemetry. Civilians transported supplies across dangerous territories. Humanity was demonstrating a quality that no empire could calculate, collective resolve fueled by courage, creativity, and unwavering defiance. Above the Iron Spire, Vayner Thal roared in fury as his fleet staggered under the combined weight of human ingenuity and coordinated attacks. "Impossible," he bellowed. "They are primitives. They should not comprehend our tactics," and yet, he stopped, realizing that the humans had not only survived, they had outmaneuvered him in multiple arenas simultaneously. "They are learning," Kira Solberg whispered, a rare note of fear in her voice. On the ground, General Nyasha Okoye received live telemetry from Jonah's team. "They've disabled the auxiliary power grid," she said, voice steady. "The fleet is faltering. Now is the moment to push forward." Across continents, humans struck again, exploiting the Valkyrie disorientation. Cities that had once been targets of fear now became symbols of resistance. Humanity's ingenuity had transformed desperation into a weapon more powerful than any alien technology. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Earth's defenders prepared for the next phase. Captain Jonah, Mara, and their team regrouped in orbit, exhausted but triumphant. "We've done more than survive," Jonah said. "We've proven that they can be challenged, that they can be outsmarted, and that our planet will not fall quietly." Mara smiled, exhaustion and pride mixed in equal measure. "And they thought we were weak. They have no idea what we are capable of yet." Back in the corridors of the Iron Spire, Vaynathal's fury gave way to a cold, calculating focus. "If they continue to resist, we will destroy more than cities," he vowed. "We will obliterate their infrastructure, their hope, their very will to fight." Kira Solberg's eyes widened. "Sir, even then, I do not think they will surrender. Not like any species before." Vayner's gaze darkened. "Then we will see how far their defiance can go. They will learn that no species survives against the Vakari Empire." But even as the Vakari plotted, on Earth a quiet determination rippled through the population. Humanity had discovered something more than tactics, more than weapons. They had discovered unity, ingenuity, and the indomitable will to survive. And for the first time, the universe began to notice that humanity was not like other species. They did not bow, they did not kneel, and they would not surrender. In a small resistance outpost overlooking the Mediterranean, Elena Marquez whispered to herself as she watched human pilots return from sorties. "We are not just defending our planet. We are redefining what it means to fight. They may have the stars, but we have Earth, and we will never give it up." Somewhere in orbit, Captain Jonah Reyes echoed the sentiment silently. "We fight for every inch. For every life. For our future. Humanity will not kneel." And so, the stage was set for the next phase of the conflict. The Vakari had underestimated the humans once, and they would soon find that underestimating them again would be their greatest mistake. The skies over Earth burned with streaks of energy and the echoes of explosions, but the human spirit refused to falter. Cities that had been ravaged the night before now teamed with coordinated efforts to reclaim control. Engineers repaired damaged communication towers while civilians transported supplies across rubble-strewn streets. Every human, from child to elder, understood the stakes. They were not merely defending their planet, they were reclaiming their dignity. In the secret command hub beneath the Rockies, General Nyasha Okoye and her team planned the most audacious strike yet. Holograms of the alien fleet hovered in the air, each ship marked with vulnerabilities and potential weak points. "We've pushed them back," she said, her voice calm but determined. "But we can't stop here. Tonight, we hit their command centers directly. If we can disrupt their leadership, the rest of the fleet will spiral into chaos." Her aides nodded, eyes reflecting determination and anticipation. Above the Pacific, Captain Jonah Reyes led a squadron of human fighters toward a heavily fortified Vakari command vessel known as the Black Apex. These ships were the nerve centers of the alien fleet, coordinating attacks and monitoring planetary defenses. "Stay sharp," Jonah instructed. "We only have one chance. One mistake, and we're done." Lieutenant Mara Ellis, sitting beside him, tapped the graviton disruptor controls. "Then let's make it count." On Earth, Dr. Amir Shah and Lena Cho activated the third phase of their experimental tech, a series of orbital EMP pulses designed to cripple alien navigation and communication temporarily. The human engineers had scavenged alien tech and rewired it into something even the Vakari could not anticipate. As the pulses surged, alien vessels wobbled uncontrollably, firing at one another in confusion. Humanity had turned enemy technology against them, and the effect was devastating. Meanwhile, in a city formerly under direct bombardment, civilians banded together to create improvised anti-ship weaponry. Rockets were mounted on trucks, drones retrofitted with plasma disruptors took flight, and engineers adapted terrestrial artillery to target alien sensors. Ordinary humans, using ingenuity born of desperation, became an unstoppable force of creativity. They were not soldiers trained for galactic war, they were humans defending their planet with every ounce of cleverness they possessed. In the corridors of the Black Apex, Vaynathal's fury boiled over. "Impossible. They should not be capable of this level of coordination. They are primitives. Lieutenant Kira Solberg tried to maintain her composure. Sir, they are leveraging their planet, their people, their resources, everything. They think beyond the limits we anticipated. Vaynor slammed his claw against the control console. Then we will adapt. We will not fail. Show them the true strength of the Valkyrie Empire. Captain Jonah's squadron maneuvered with daring precision, weaving through the chaos as graviton disruptors disabled shields and threw navigation systems into disarray. Mara Ellis deployed specialized charges along critical hull junctions of the Black Apex. Explosions ripped through compartments, and the vessel shook violently. Human ingenuity, patience, and timing had turned what seemed like an impossible mission into a stunning success. On the planet's surface, General Nyasha Okoye coordinated ground strikes to complement the orbital assault. Sabotage teams infiltrated Valkyrie forward bases, severing power lines and destroying weapon caches. Civilians assisted by providing intelligence on enemy movements and transporting supplies to the front lines. The planet itself had become an extension of the human resistance, a living, breathing partner in the fight against overwhelming odds. Inside the Black Apex, Vaynor Thal realized that his carefully constructed order was unraveling. His fleet, once disciplined and formidable, now teetered on the edge of chaos. "Contain the breaches," he roared. "Destroy the humans before they reach the command nodes." Lieutenant Solberg's voice trembled. "Sir, even if we repel them temporarily, they have already shown they can strike anywhere at any time. They are unpredictable." Vaynor's scales darkened with rage. "Then we will burn the world beneath them. Let them see the consequences of defiance." Yet, as the aliens threatened destruction, humanity did something the Valkyrie could never have anticipated. Using a combination of stolen alien tech, improvised weaponry, and sheer tactical brilliance, human forces executed a synchronized planetary and orbital assault. Cities once destroyed became launch points for strikes, hidden bunkers became command centers, and every human on the planet contributed in some way. The impossible was no longer impossible. Captain Jonah's team finally reached the inner command chamber of the Black Apex. Mara Ellis deployed the final graviton disruptors. The command systems of the vessel flickered and died, leaving the alien officers scrambling. Jonah's team moved swiftly, neutralizing threats with surgical precision. Humanity's creativity and adaptability had not just leveled the playing field, they had seized the advantage. On Earth, the response was immediate and overwhelming. Alien cruisers, cut off from Central Command, collided or retreated. Energy weapons misfired, and planetary bombardments ceased as the Black Apex's control systems failed. General Nyasha Okoye allowed herself a brief smile. "This is what I've been waiting for. They think they are invincible, but they have underestimated the power of unity, creativity, and determination." In orbit, Jonah Reyes and his squadron observed the unfolding chaos. "They've lost control," Mara Ellis said, awe in her voice. "We've actually done it." Jonah looked at the horizon, where the sun glimmered over a battered but undefeated planet. "This is only the beginning," he said quietly. "The Valkyrie will adapt, but so will we. Humanity does not surrender. Humanity never will." Back on the Black Apex, Vaynor Thal seethed, realizing that his fleet had been outmaneuvered by a species he had once dismissed as insignificant. "They are different," he muttered, almost to himself. "They do not follow logic, they follow something else. Something dangerous. Something I cannot control." Lieutenant Kira Solberg met his gaze, a rare understanding in her eyes. "Sir, they are proving that willpower, ingenuity, and determination can overcome even the most advanced force." And somewhere across the world, in homes, schools, and hidden bunkers, humans paused for a moment to realize what they had achieved. Against an empire that had crushed hundreds of civilizations, humanity had not only survived, they had struck back. Against odds that should have been insurmountable, humanity had seized the initiative, proving that intelligence, creativity, and courage could outmatch sheer technological might. The human gambit had succeeded. The Valkyrie had been forced to retreat and rethink. Humanity had shattered their expectations, and in doing so, had begun to redefine the fate of their species. The war was far from over, but for the first time, hope burned brightly across Earth, unquenchable and unyielding. The night sky above Earth was alive with streaks of fire and the hum of human-engineered drones. Across continents, the remnants of the Valkyrie fleet struggled to maintain cohesion, their communications fractured, their systems failing. Humanity had seized the initiative, and the invaders had no choice but to respond to the chaos unfolding around them. In the underground command hub beneath Tokyo, General Nyasha Okoye surveyed the planetary operations map, her fingers tracing the paths of the final coordinated strikes. "This is it," she said, voice calm but electric with anticipation. "All units converge. Tonight, we hit the heart of their fleet. Tonight, we show them that humans do not yield." Her team moved with fluid precision, every action a testament to months of preparation, ingenuity, and determination. Captain Jonah Reyes piloted the stealth transport toward the Valkyrie flagship, the Dread Horizon, now limping after relentless human strikes. Beside him, Lieutenant Mara Ellis monitored sensor feeds, eyes sharp and unyielding. "They won't see us coming," Mara said. "All their systems are offline or compromised." Jonah nodded. "Then let's finish this. For Earth. For humanity." Meanwhile, on the planet's surface, Dr. Amir Shah and Lena Cho activated the final phase of their experimental tech, a synchronized global pulse designed to disrupt every alien power relay simultaneously. Across continents, hidden bunkers hummed with energy as engineers, scientists, and volunteers activated devices that could theoretically disable the Valkyrie command network in one swift move. Humanity's creativity had turned desperation into a weapon more formidable than any fleet the aliens possessed. In orbit, the Dread Horizon struggled against the human onslaught. Vayner Thal's frustration had turned into dread. "This cannot be," he growled, watching his fleet falter. "Every strike, every move, they predict it. They anticipate everything." Lieutenant Kira Solberg's multifaceted eyes reflected the flickering lights of malfunctioning systems. "Sir, they have adapted. They are not merely responding, they are innovating. Every attack strengthens them." Vayner roared, slamming claws against the command console. "Then we will destroy the planet below if they refuse to surrender. Obliterate them entirely." But humanity would not be cowed. Captain Jonah's squadron reached the Dread Horizon undetected, slipping past defensive turrets and disrupted shield matrices. Mara Ellis deployed graviton charges at critical junctures, while human infiltrators armed with alien tech silently neutralized command nodes. Explosions rippled through the vessel, sending waves of shock and panic across the remaining Valkyrie crew. On Earth, the synchronized planetary pulse activated. Cities once devastated by Valkyrie bombardment now erupted in a coordinated, dazzling display of ingenuity. Energy pulses disabled enemy weapons, scrambled communications, and crippled propulsion systems. Across continents, human resistance teams exploited the chaos, striking at isolated alien units with surgical precision. Humanity's unity had become a force the Valkyrie could neither predict nor counter. Deep within the Dread Horizon, Vayner Thal realized that defeat was inevitable. His fleet had been broken, his command nodes destroyed, and his strategies outwitted at every turn. The arrogance of centuries crumbled before the sheer will of a single species. "Impossible," he whispered, scales paling. Kira Solberg watched the chaos unfold, recognition dawning in her eyes. "They are extraordinary. They are not just survivors, they are a force unlike any we have ever encountered." Captain Jonah and Mara Ellis reached the central reactor chamber, where the core pulsed with the vessel's lifeblood. Explosives were carefully placed, and a countdown initiated. "Everyone clear?" Jonah asked. Nods came from the team, silent acknowledgement of the stakes. The detonator clicked. Seconds later, the Dread Horizon erupted in a violent, brilliant explosion, shattering the flagship and sending debris scattering across space. On the planet's surface, humanity erupted in cheers. Across cities, forests, and mountains, humans celebrated the victory, not with arrogance, but with relief, unity, and pride. The invincible Valkyrie fleet had been humbled. Humans had outsmarted, outmaneuvered, and outlasted a civilization that had conquered hundreds of species. They had proven that ingenuity, determination, and courage could triumph against impossible odds. In the aftermath, General Nyasha Okoye addressed the world through remaining communication networks. Today, humanity has shown that strength is not defined by technology alone, nor by numbers. Strength is defined by resilience, creativity, and unity. We have defended our home, reclaimed our dignity, and sent a message to the galaxy. Humanity will not kneel. Humanity will endure. Captain Jonah and Mara watched the shattered remains of the alien fleet drift across the stars. They underestimated us, Jonah said quietly. Mara nodded. And they learned the wrong lesson. We are not just survivors. We are humans. We adapt, we fight, and we never give up. Across Earth, ordinary humans continued their work, repairing, rebuilding, and ensuring that the planet was ready for any challenge the galaxy might throw at them next. The children who once hid in shelters now watched the stars with wonder, not fear, imagining the stories they would tell about the day humanity stood against an empire and refused to bow. In the depths of space, the surviving Valkyrie retreated, carrying with them the memory of an unpredictable species that had changed the rules of warfare. Humanity had proven that courage, creativity, and determination were more powerful than fear, more enduring than oppression, and more decisive than any fleet or weapon. And so, Earth's defenders stood victorious, not because they had the most advanced technology, nor the largest forces, but because they were humans, resilient, inventive, and unyielding. Across the globe, people celebrated quietly, knowing the war was far from over, but confident that they had carved their name into the galaxy's history. The Valkyrie Empire had met its match. Humanity had shattered their expectations, rewritten the rules of engagement, and shown the universe that no power could crush the will of those who refused to surrender. As the first rays of dawn touched the horizon, humanity looked to the stars not with fear, but with determination, curiosity, and hope. They had survived, they had fought, and they had triumphed. And this was only the beginning.